There's a cow. Where am I? Welcome to Wyoming. I don't know why I'm here. And that's pretty much all of Wyoming for you. So the reason why the Wyoming video was so short is because before I went on the trip, I looked at Google Maps and I saw that I was driving into Wyoming, but I didn't pay attention to how short I would be in Wyoming. And it was very short. In fact, this is exactly how long it took me to get through Wyoming. And when I was in the car, the GPS said, "Welcome to Wyoming." And then I stopped and made the video of the cow. And then about 1 minute later, it said, "Welcome to the next state." So it was short and it just surprised me because I thought I was going to be driving through Wyoming for like an hour. But I didn't have any places on my list in Wyoming to see. So I figured I would stop 2 or 3 times to make short videos. But you got what I saw. And just to look back at the states that I visited so far, Washington State, first I have to say Seattle, I was downtown. And it really wasn't bad. I saw a few tents set up for homeless people, but I was downtown and I was told that downtown is not so bad. So maybe I didn't see the worst part of Seattle because I've only heard bad things about Seattle. And I'm sure most of them are true, but downtown looked perfectly fine. The only part of Washington State that I would consider living was about 45 minutes outside of Seattle, heading towards Idaho, only because then it became, more mountains of the national forest. And it was much prettier once I got out there. In Idaho, I don't really think I saw anything there on the route that I took that would make me want to move there. I said it before, it was just a lot of flat farmland and a lot of cows, and that's about it. Really nothing in Idaho. I'm sure there's other parts of Idaho that are nice, maybe not, but I didn't see anything that would draw me to move to Idaho. I did like Montana more because it was very hilly. And yeah, there was a lot of farmland. It was also neat. I passed by a couple of farms, of course, with cows. I passed by a farm with bison and I passed by a deer farm. So that was a little different. I didn't see any of that in Idaho. I just saw cows in Idaho. I also believe I wasn't in the best part of Montana. I'm sure if I had been more to the north of Montana, there would have been a lot more things that I would have liked. But when I drive back to Seattle, on my way back to Alaska, I am going to drive through the top part of Montana. So I'm going to see quite a bit more Montana before I get back to Alaska. The one thing I noticed in Montana, though, is I must have killed about 3,500 bugs when I was driving through the mountains and back on the highway. The truck, the entire front and the windshield is covered with dead bugs and I can't get it off. So probably when I get to where I'm going, I'll go through a car wash. It looks awful. Tomorrow or when I get to South Dakota, I'll make a video of it. It looks like I drove through a wall of bugs. And that was only in Montana. I don't know why, but Montana was filled with bugs. Something else I noticed during the drive, what is very different in Alaska, is yes, the small towns exist everywhere in the US, especially this route that I'm driving, and in Washington State, in Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, they're all going to have these small towns. But in Alaska, when you're driving the highway, you drive straight through these towns, even the ones that are abandoned. You don't have to go off an exit or take a right turn to get to these towns. You drive right through the center of them in Alaska. What I don't like when I'm driving here, and I understand it's different, I'm on 90 East, so there's not going to be a small town on the highway. But since I left Seattle, I always have to go off an exit and drive 1 or 2 minutes to get to the town. And it's not a problem, but it's really nice when you just drive straight and you come to the town, you stop right there instead of going off the exit ramp, turning right, turning left, and there's the small town. And of course, in all the small towns, no matter if it's in Alaska or it's here in the lower states, they're so friendly, whether it's the grocery store. The two ladies working in the Wyoming grocery store that I stopped for lunch at, they were talking to me forever. It's almost like they don't want you to leave, and they probably don't because there's not many people there and they have fun. They're all asking you, where did you come from? How's it there? How's it there? So it's really nice going to these small towns, grabbing lunch, whether it's the diner in Ritzville. They're all just talking to you. They're so friendly. Even if you buy something that's $5, it's not like they're trying to sell you stuff where sometimes you feel like when the people are being friendly, they know you're a tourist, they want you to spend money. Even in the grocery stores, they don't care if you buy a $1 pack of gum. So I like that a lot going to the small towns, and I'll continue trying to find the small towns on the way so that, I get a nice part of each state. Because the big cities, it's all going to be the same. The people are faster, maybe they're a little more rude. So I purposely try to hit really small towns without looking up beforehand how big is the town or anything. I just see something called Ritzville. It's going to be small. I'm going to stop there if I can. And the other thing I'll say is the next 2 days are going to be a lot of things to look at. Some of the states I'm going through aren't going to have that many things. They're going to be pretty short. Not as short as Wyoming, but they're going to be short, and they're really not going to have a lot of things to look at. So I'll make videos even if I just stop on the side of the road and take a break. But in the next video, it's probably going to be a really long video because I have a lot of stops, and I'm even going to stay 2 nights in that state because there's that much to see. So the next video, make sure you have at least 25 minutes, maybe even more, maybe a little bit less. I'm not really sure, but be prepared.